why World of Warcraft is amazing. I felt like writing what was good about World of Warcraft because there is no denying that a game on this scale has to have something good about it, and it's been going for long enough. But to allow some light in the dark times, I decided to make a list of the good things. One. The story. If you ever played the Warcraft games, you likely know the story and how amazing it is. Surprisingly, I haven't, and I heard it's good. But I have played through World of Warcraft long enough, and the stories are good. From the old zones to current, and even the books, it's good. The story revolves around war, and the stuff that comes with war. In the books, the one story that sticks with me was from Warcraft Archives, I think. The one where Thrall was escaping from Durnahold Keep. That was so good. 2. Quest design is good from Cataclysm onwards. I always thought the questing was great, especially in BFA where it was really knocked out the park, both in story and how the quests function. Though there is a little detail missing from them all, that being the ability to use abilities to do objectives without the use of a quest item. For example, removing curses using an item versus using an ability, or using both. I think that detail is genius and seems to have lost that touch in recent expansions. But that's not to say the quest design is bad. It's improved in every other area. 3. Traveling. Once you get your mounts, you realize how much easier it is to travel around, and how fun it can be sometimes. It's also satisfying to get that mount you've been trying hard to get and ride it everywhere you go. When I travel, I like to observe my surroundings. If it's flight paths or flying, however, I may alt-tab to do something else. Or you can observe the surroundings. There's always something to do when you're traveling. 4. The map. The one thing that drew me to World of Warcraft was the map. I was aware it was huge, and I wasn't aware it was that huge. It's insane. Every zone is so big. It stuns me, not just for scale, but how good each area looks. 5. The graphics. A unique thing about World of Warcraft is the graphics. It's cartoony, it looks dated, but god does it work. With the right settings and add-ons, everything in the game looks amazing. Whether it's the HUD or the world itself. And the characters too. It looks amazing. 6. Transmog. Yep, this is cool. I love the idea of being able to change your gear to look like something else entirely. I love that. It's so good. And there's even things I didn't know existed there. You can enchant weapons with illusions. Can be bought on the auction house at a price. It's amazing. The Legion artifacts especially are incredible. 7. Combat. I thought I'd leave this as its own thing, but combat is fun. I mean, PvE, not PvP. I like how it's possible to play every class and race, and not really be penalized for it. There are some exceptions, when you pair races and classes, as well as a few class specs. For the most part, each class is really interesting, and every race also has something interesting. And those combined with how they work in combat makes some unique stuff. My Tauren Death Knight ended up being one of the greatest stallers in dungeons simply because I had the ability to stomp adds. It's amazing. And the scaling of enemies and such is pretty good. Eight. Goals that are doable by anyone. Even if reputation grinds are long and boring, at least most of them get you something nice at the end, and are actually possible. Some grinds are not time gated. 9. Some good bugs are left in. I really dislike it when games remove harmless bugs. I'm talking about bugs like when that dog thing in the Mogushan Palace dungeon attacks you. One guy has a dog which will pounce on you and attack you, but it knocks you over. The funny bug they left in here was you were allowed to move during that attack. So you can move left and right and wiggle the dog around as well as yourself. It happens by default, there's no trick, it just happens. Hilarious. And in BFA on the Horde side, you can death grip a turtle up to the boat with your mission tail and either kill it or leave it there before it goes to the water after 15 seconds. It's funny to do, but the turtle thing is only possible as Death Knight to my knowledge. The toy box. I admit, there's some really cool stuff in this. I saw a Tauren Demon Hunter in Zaldaza for the first time the other day. I thought I was high or something. Turns out, it was a toy. Genius. The voice acting is amazing too. There isn't much to say about this, other than it's always great. 12. The visual and gameplay design is sometimes genius. Speaking of mounts, even though they are a pain in the ass to get, they still serve a good purpose and are a good goal to work towards. Take for example the mount which has an auctioneer. I met a few players with them. So useful. I use the 120k yak from Mob because it's handy to have. It's such good design. Now there's mount equipment. The Shackled Urzel is probably my favorite mount in the game both visually and because of the story. It's so dark. I also like the design of some quests in the game. There was a quest in the Zandalari Allied Race quest line. There was a quest where you have to avoid the frogs, which is a quest I've never seen in the game before. It's clever. 13. Addons. They are allowed. And even reshade is allowed, which improves the graphics. There's a lot to do. Endgame content is generally interesting. There's enough to do, though there are some improvements that need to be done. There is legitimately no end to what you can do. You can collect mounts, farm for transmog gear, try a new profession entirely, or maybe just level up a new character. But that is not to say you don't have things to do. That's all I can list for the moment. Since BFA is coming to an end, I feel it's important to take a moment to reflect on the good. Whilst most of this isn't about BFA specifically, it is at least some light in the darkness, as I mentioned at the start.